Our guest today is Simon Johnson, author of an influential new book, 13 Bankers, about the financial crisis, what caused it, and what can be done to prevent the next crisis. Professor of economics at MIT, a fellow at the Peterson Institute, and a former chief economist at the International Monetary Fund. Welcome.
Hi.
13 Bankers refers to the 13 bankers who were in the room with Hank Paulson when the crisis hit. Why is it a problem that there were these 13 bankers who were so large, the Citigroups, the Bank of Americas, the Wells Fargo's, and why do they need to be broken up in your view?
Well, remember, the 13 bankers, Chris, were responsible for the crisis. It was their incompetence and their arrogance that brought us to the disaster of September 2008. And they were saved. They were saved completely by Hank Paulson. And then in this amazing meeting, March 2009, all 13 were brought into the White House. And they were told they got to keep their jobs, keep their pensions, keep their bonuses, keep their boards of directors, keep their empires. In fact, they were given such an incredible rescue package, they're just going to go out and do it again. They've already become bigger than they were before the crisis.
You write about the influence the banks have had in U.S. politics going back to the time of Thomas Jefferson. Given that, and given the fact that they're bigger now than they've ever been in the past, what hopes do you really have that the government will be able to break them up going forward? The last chapter of your book is surprisingly optimistic, given all the chapters that lead up to it.
Well, it's going to be a struggle, it's going to be a fight, and we say that. But if you look at the American history, if you look at Teddy Roosevelt against the big trust at the beginning of the 20th century, look at Franklin Delano Roosevelt fighting in the 1930s for financial reform, go back to Andrew Jackson in the 1830s against the second bank in the United States, every time we've had this kind of confrontation before in the U.S., the Democratic power has prevailed over this massive, out-of-control financial aristocracy. We need to do it again. That American history gives me some confidence, but I agree it's not going to happen quickly. I don't think it's going to happen in this legislative cycle. I think it's a 10-year struggle.
There were certainly a lot of players outside of these 13 banks that caused the crisis, non-bank lenders, consumers to some degree, mortgage brokers, a whole range of people. Is fixing these 13 bankers, putting tighter controls on them and breaking them up, really going to solve the whole problem for the next crisis?
I don't think it's sufficient, but I think it is necessary. These bankers and their power and their scale are a huge problem. They're too big to fail. That term is apt. They have a funding advantage. They can borrow cheaper than other banks, about 75 or 80 basis points, nearly a whole percentage point cheaper. They can get bigger. They are scaling up. They are moving out. They are globalizing themselves even more. This is profoundly dangerous, looking forward, and it should be stopped.
The book, again, is 13 Bankers by Simon Johnson, an influential new book about how we got into the crisis that almost brought down the country and how to avoid the next one.